actually all the bike races are a 9-lapper. And then you'll have most of the races in 8 laps, and then the odd 10-lap race. No endurance races today, or what you could call endurance, the longer races. But yeah, we come now, so watch out for them.
No, but you're completely right, and we said that spring is around the corner, and it seems it's already come. We don't have any mud or anything sitting around no longer. You can see the green between the weeds, if you will. But you got to be careful, because that stuff can be very slippery, so you don't want to make your way out onto the grass. But we hear the bikes lining up, they're revving up. Everyone's getting their positions ready. There's a hand up for the 73, that's Zante Otto. I believe it looks like she had a problem. She's looking around the side of the bike. I think they're going to tell her to move off. The 5-second board is up. We run out of the way. The lights are on, and the lights are off, and away they go to start the first of the bike racing for today. Screaming 600s that Jamie Hall ducks there behind Brandon Hutchings into Holzhoek, and he dives up the inside. Will he make it stick? It's very close, nail-bitingly close, as Jamie Hall takes the lead.
Out of turn 1, Holzhoek, they'll run onto the Joubert straight. What a wonderful move there from Jamie Hall, and he was moving around a lot behind Brandon Hutchings, but a little bit of movement down there. I think Lance Jonas lost out of place. And what one for a pit lane starter, and that number 14 is Max Munton. And Max Munton on the KTM Duke, the 390, as they make their way through Lundstem and then into that Damps Dip section, turn 3 onto the Tygerberg Straight, and charge it up for the first time at racing speed to Super Sorrel Sweep.
I just saw Jamie Hall looking over his shoulder there just to see how far ahead he is already after this first lap. And it's a considerable margin from him to Brandon Hutchings, and I'm sure we're going to see what the time is looking like between the two as they cross the line after their first running lap. But now we watch them go down the Kalani Straight and into Fastron. And Brandon Hutchings is getting swarmed there a little bit. Here comes Lance Jonas as well as Adrian Solomon a little bit further behind. And just on the back of that grid, there is Abdul Isak as well. Lovely to see him a bit closer up in the front of the field.
Adrian Solomon in 4th place overall on that 300, the leading 300. Jamie Hall crosses the line. Brandon Hutchings will be a second off of him. Abdul Isak coming up nicely into 2nd placing and jumping Lance Jonas at the start. Lance Jonas now in 4th position. Adrian Solomon leading the 300s as they go into the Holzhoek turn 1 section. You will see not a stiff breeze going through there as the leader now dips his knee into Castrol Corner, turn 2. It's behind him, though. That is the close battle between Hutchings, Isak, and Jonas. And following suit will be Solomon and Burnett. Looking a little bit further back, Raymond Alexander in 2nd in class, 7th overall for the 300s. Abigail Bosson leading Mitch Robinson for the battle for a 3rd and 4th in class, Jordan.
Yep, and I'm just looking out now and seeing how quick these riders are going. After this only being the first running lap of the circuit, we'll see what it's like after the 2nd running lap. That's a full running lap as opposed to the standing start they do on lap 1. But you can see the speeds are up and at them already as they make their way down the Kalani Straight. There's 4 bikes there in the mid-pack between 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. And Adrian Solomon is right at the back of that train as they make their way into Fastron. But we'll see who makes it out there. And I believe that is Lance Jonas, who's just pipped Abdul Isak.
Yeah. It is. You are quite right there, Jordan. Quite nicely done as well. Smoothly done. He sets his sights now. All right, Brandon. Okay, so he'll set his sights now on the likes of Abdul Isak and of course, Jamie Hall, who's getting away. Adrian Solomon, look there, a fastest lap, Jordan. A 1:26.383 as they go into turn 1, Holzhoek now. And things are really hotting up here. We even had Zante Otto put a 29.7 in to put a faster sector in. She's in 9th, thankfully, getting that bike going.
Yeah, and if you think about it, just talking on Adrian Solomon as he is in the back of this pack as we watch them go through Castrol Corner and exit Castrol Corner now towards Landstem Kink and then into Damps Dip. Adrian Solomon is in the most prime position at the moment. He can sit behind those 3 600s and have a massive slipstream and tow down the Kalani straight and down the Porsche straight, and all he has to do is sit and wait until the right opportunity where you can dive up all of them at once.
He's a very smart rider, is Solomon there, Jordan, and he's got a lot of experience. You can see he's only 4/10 of a second off of Jonas. They're going now through onto the Kalani straight now. The leader, who is still Jamie Hall, the man who started in second position, was 1.8 seconds ahead of Abdul Isak at the end of the last lap, but Isak is under pressure here. Braden Hutchings is on the comeback trail. They're coming out of Fostron now through turn 5A and onto the Porsche straight to go and start another lap.
And we watch there goes Jamie Hall, still in the lead by, we'll see the gap as they cross the line. It's about 1 second between himself and Abdul Isak. Abdul Isak up into second place. A brilliant performance so far from him. He just set the fastest lap time of a 26.165, or 105 rather, as we watch now. That's Abigail Bosson, followed there by Raymond Alexander on that 11 bike, and Zante Otto in that group of 3.
Yeah, Raymond Alexander was second in class for a little while there, Jordan, and then he lost out to Abigail Bosson, who's now in the second place. Zante Otto closing up the gap. She's on a 650, remember, as well, 9th overall as the leaders make their way through turn 3. Damps dip now. It's still Jamie Hall that leads by only a second. Abdul Isak closed up the gap with that fastest lap the last time, remember, 126.105, because he can feel snapping at his heels Braden Hutchings.
And I also think right now these are the perfect conditions. It's still morning temperature. It's a little bit cooler for the bike, so the engines are going to be right up in their peak performance, as well as those BATT tires are going to be nice and warm on this slightly warming circuit as we watch them go into Pertamina Fostron. The group is just getting bigger and bigger. But now, let's not leave out Reynard Burnett, who's just a little bit behind Adrian Solomon, as that group of 4 between 2nd and 5th place battles it out. Raymond Burnett can just sit there and wait for his own opportunity to strike on the back of that quad.
Oh, down the straight they go now, Jordan. It is a fastest lap for our leader as they charge up to turn 1. Holzuka, 125.940, and still very close now, but look at this battle coming across the line now. Zante Otto is piercing through, got past Raymond Alexander now, and is going to set her sights on the fellow lass that is Abigail. Now, Abigail's actually lost out, my apologies. And instead, joining them at the back there, I see Elmer Mosters a little further back, 11 seconds down the road, but Abigail Bosson is now at the tail end of that 3 group and in 3rd place in class.
But now we watch through Dam's Dip they go. Here come the leaders, and Reynard Burnett, I said don't leave him out, but here he comes. The battle between Adrian Solomon and Lance Jonas is still heating up, and this is going to be a 3-way battle for them, as Reynard Burnett is right on their heels as they make their way through Sorrel Sweep. And that little group of 2 between Abdul Isak and Braden Hutchings has bunched together, and they'll battle it out down to Fostron.
And it's about half distance now, Jordan, as they go down the Kalani straight and towards Fostron corner. The movements are going to be made here. Still 4.5 laps left to go. And 2nd place and 3rd place, Abdul Isak, Braden Hutchings. The last time, only 0.2 of a second between them. And still, at the moment, it is status quo as they make it to the line. Jamie Hall on bike number 65 crosses the line, fastest lap of 125.220. He is much quicker than Abdul Isak and Braden Hutchings, who now 0.3 between the 2 of them, and just a 1/10 of a second faster across the line. Jordan, Abdul Isak was from Braden Hutchings into turn 1 now.
They say Noah said 2 by 2, but this is 1 by 2 by 3 as they make their way on to start another lap. But now we watch coming into 1, that's Zante Otto peeling away from Abigail Bosson and Raymond Alexander as their gaps grow as well. Coming across the line now to 1, there's a big group of 3 as well. But we look to Dam's Dip once again. Jamie Hall still out, as you said, with that 125.220. He jumped a second on the previous best lap of Abdul Isak, as they make their way towards Sorrel Sweep, or down the Tygerberg straight now through Sorrel Sweep. You can see that lovely processed gravel on the outside there. It's not where you want to be, but look at them go through. Look at the speed putting their knee down. There's 4th, 5th, and 6th. That is Lance Jonas, Reynard Burnett, and Adrian Solomon. And I said don't leave Burnett out. He's made his way past Solomon, but this is the perfect opportunity for either of them to jump Lance Jonas.
Burnett, a dark horse in this race there, Jordan. They are in Fastron now. The battle rages on. It will be our leader, Jamie Hall. Last time around, fastest lap. He will still hold the advantage. Will it be over 2 seconds now? It was 1.8 seconds. He crosses the line. When they cross the line behind him, it is 2.1 seconds. Abdul Isak is a 1/10 of a second between himself and Braden Hutchings. They are all trading fastest sector times and heading through Holes Hook now and onto the Joubert Strait. And to start, of course, they started another lap. It's 3 laps left to go, including the one they are currently on. Into Castrol they go, Jordan.
And as I said, we talked about the dark horse. There comes Reynald Burnett on that Subsidium IT ER6. He's jumped both Lance Jonas and Adrian Solomon as he just waited in the background, and he got through them down the Porsche straight. But now we watch as they go through Damstip. There's first, second, third. Jamie Hall, Abdul Isak, Braden Hutchings, Reynald Burnett sitting in that 4th place on the number 54 bike. Lance Jonas and Adrian Solomon rounding out that top 6.
Through Saro Sweep they go. It's a 2 and a bit laps left. And this whole 5-way battle is still raging on. Lance Jonas is now 5th position. They go over the King Tony Tools tunnel. They are now on the Killarney Straight or the back straight, whichever way you want to put it. Then into turn 5, Fastron corner. When they cross the line, it will be 2 more laps left to go, but Abdul Isak and Braden Hutchings are pushing incredibly hard here. They're onto the rumble strips. They'll make it towards the city of Cape Town and Castrol Bridge. And now, let's see if Braden Hutchings can come out of the slipstream and into 2nd position as they go across. Braden Hutchings is up, and a fastest lap of a 1:25.217 and 1.7 seconds between himself and Jamie Hall. It's a bit of a tough ask though, Jordan, for you to catch.
No, but we see that little pair there of Braden Hutchings and Abdul Isak, but we look a little bit further back and we see that pair of Lance Jonas and Adrian Solomon. There we see 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. There's Reynald Burnett sitting on his own. A little bit squirrely, gets Jonas on the rear brake as they make their way into Castrol Corner. And Adrian Solomon's going to try and go around the outside. That 300 class Kawasaki 400 can get around the corners a little bit faster. But the power of that 650 or that MT-07 of Lance Jonas really shows its grunt as they make their way through Damstip. But now we watch Lance Jonas is not going to want to let this kid pass, but they're going to go side by side down the Tygerberg Straight. This is going to be perfect position for Adrian Solomon, but it's just not enough due to that 600's power down the straight.
A lot of experience under that helmet there of Lance Jonas. Down the back straight, though, the leaders go now. That, of course, is the Killarney Straight, to be correct. And into Fastron we make it. Number turn 5. Jamie Hall, 1.7 seconds between himself and Braden Hutchings the last time around, but fastest sector times over the last lap from Braden Hutchings as they make their way now to the line to start lap last, of course. They now are never lap. And it is going to be Jamie Hall across the line, then followed by 1.3 seconds later, Braden Hutchings, Abdul Isak in 3rd position. They go into Holes Hook now for the 9th time in this race. They've started to leave behind the likes of Reinhard Burnett, Lance Jonas, Adrian Solomon, Zante Otto still up in 7th.
I do believe they are catching Jamie Hall ever so slightly. May this be Jamie getting a little bit tired? Is he letting off and wanting to let that last lap or the last 4 corners? As we watch, look how close Braden Hutchings gotten all of a sudden as they make their way through Lundstem and into Damstip. But we'll stay on them as we watch them complete this final lap. This is going to be nail-biting, and I'm running out of nails, Byron.
All right, let's see them go around onto the Tygerberg Straight now. They are nose to tail with each other through Sarl Sweep. He's going to have to make his move, Jordan, on the Killarney Straight towards Fastron. We'll watch them now onto that Killarney Straight. Here we go. Braden Hutchings is in the slipstream of Jamie Hall, getting a magnificent tow. He will over the King Tony Tools tunnel. He will dive onto the inside into Fastron. They will be side by side. No, they won't be side by side because we saw Jamie Hall go defensive, but he goes out wide on the exit, and it's going to be a dead heat to the line between these two legends as we make them go to the line. I think Jamie Hall will just pip him, Jordan. Just.
And he does exactly so. Braden Hutchings just not enough to get by. Abdul Isak comes a lovely 3rd place. He brings that home. Rhino Burnett from a little bit further down in the midfield to 4th overall. Lance Jonas just beating out Adrian Solomon on that Pool Kings 400. And now we wait for the rest of the grid. Here comes Zonte Otto back again for the first time in a long time. She takes 7th overall, and that is that'll be 6th in class. Abigail Boston coming home in 2nd in class. A brilliant result from her. Raymond Alexander a little bit further back, coming home in 9th and 4th overall in class. Third overall in class. Now we just wait for the likes of Max Munton, Almi Mostert, and Peter Hill, as well as Mitch Robertson, to cross the line. All just pedaling at the back of the field. 10th place overall for Max Munton and 4th in class after starting from the pit lane. So I'm sure that race one wasn't how we wanted it to go, but getting the laps in is also important, as we see Almi Mostert come across the line on her Samurai Racing SV650, and finishing it off for the BATT Super Twin Cup 650s and Super Sport 300s is Peter Hill and Mitch Robertson.
Yeah, a 1:24.604 on that final lap for Braden Hutchings, 0.2 of a second. And as Braden would say, if we had to speak to him right now, he would have said to us, one more lap, I would have had him. And we always want that last extra little lap, but it's only 9 laps. But I'm taking nothing away from Jamie Hall over here. A magnificent start and magnificent maintenance of that gap. And of course, that was the BATT Super Twin Cup 650 and 300 Super Sport motorcycles for their first race today. Formula Libras with no sponsor at the moment, coming up next. So if you want to get yourself involved in any sort of motorsport, single seaters here in Cape Town, that's something to look at.